Hello dear students, this is your Suma madam. Welcome to the next video lecture on the example. So on round robin scheduling algorithm. So in this example we are just going to solve the round robin scheduling algorithm with the processes arrived at different times. So let me just consider this problem in which we have a 4 processes with arrival time given as 0, 1, 2, 3 and their burst time given as 4, 5, 2, 1 and the time quantum is defined as 2 milliseconds. We already know that how round robin will be just going to work with the time limit, isn't it? So every process in each of the round will get maximum amount of time that is defined with the time quantum or time slice, and it is just going to use the CPU only for that amount of time. Once it reaches that time limit, so the CPU will be preempted to the next process in the ready queue. So while solving the round robin with the processes arrived at different times, we need to maintain one more queue. So while just solving, so along with the Gantt chart, so let me just have a queue maintenance over here along with the Gantt chart. So now we have to start scheduling the process using the Gantt chart. So at time 0 we need to just check out, is there any other process, is there any process in the system. At time 0 we have P1, so let me push P1 into the queue first. So now we have to give the P1 the CPU for the P1 only for 2 milliseconds. So let me just schedule the P1 which is there in the ready queue at time 0 for 2 milliseconds. So once it is just reaches the time limit, we need to just preempt the CPU. But before that, so before we reaches the 2 milliseconds, there are any other, we need to just check out, is there any other process that have been arrived within this time. So when you just look at the problem, there is a P2 and P3 which have been arrived during the time 1 and 2 milliseconds. So we have to just attach them to the ready queue. So this ready queue will be just treated as circular queue, remember that. So now we need to just check out, so is there within that time any other processes. As we have it in this problem, we have a P2 and P3 within 1 and 2. So now we have to stop P1 because he has got executed for time quantum of 2 milliseconds. We need to preempt the CPU to the next process in the system or in the queue. So before we just do this, so this P1 will be preempted and it will be sent back to the tail of the queue. It will be put back to the ready queue. So that we need to attach P2, the P1, the process 1 with the remaining burst time of 2 milliseconds to the next round running. So that is back to the ready queue. So P1 is done for 2 milliseconds in first round. So now we have to pick the process in the ready queue, that is P2. So P2 that have been arrived in 1 millisecond. So P2 again will be just given the CPU for 2 milliseconds. So it is just going to use the CPU for 2 more milliseconds, so that is from 2 to 4 milliseconds. So now we need to just check out between these two, this limit, is there any other process that have been just arrived. Yes, we have at time 3 there is a process P4 that have been arrived. So we have to, before it completes only, so P4 will be ready in the ready queue. We need to just take care in the parallelly. Okay, so P4 is already ready, will be waiting in the ready queue for the process. So now P2 will be just run for 2 milliseconds because the time limit is 2 milliseconds, and for the remaining execution, so that is for 3 more milliseconds, it will be put back to the ready queue, put back the P2 into the tail of the ready queue. So now P2 is done. Next process in the queue would be P3. So now P3 will be just scheduled for 2 milliseconds. So since it is carrying the 2 burst time, so it will be completed within a single round. So P3 will be just scheduled at 4. So you can also just look at here within 4, in the 4 only the one process was there, so we had already put that. So now P3 will be scheduled at 4. So since it's carrying the burst time as 2, so it will be scheduled for 2 more milliseconds, and within this duration there are no other processes that are arrived. So we need to just do with the scheduling of P3. P3 will be using the CPU for 2 milliseconds. Since it is not carrying any burst time for the next round, so it is not going to put back to the ready queue. We are not pushing back the P3 to the ready queue. So next process in the queue is P1. So P1 with the remaining time is only 2 milliseconds. So this is just going to be completed or going to use the CPU for 2 more milliseconds. So P1 will be used the CPU for 2 more milliseconds with the next round, in the second round. So for the next round it would be a 0. So since it is carrying 0 remaining time, we are not going to push back the P1 back to the ready queue. So next process in the queue would be P4 again. So P4 is having the one burst time. So since the time limit is 2, within that he could just finish. So P4 will be just scheduled, since he needs only 1 millisecond from 8 to 9, he could just complete. Since he is carrying the 0 burst time, no pushing back the P4 to the ready queue back, because for the next execution in the next round. So now look at the ready queue. There is only P2 that has left out. So his burst time is 3 seconds. So P2 will be just picked and it will be given the CPU for 2 milliseconds. So from 9 to 11. So P2 is remain with the 1 burst time for the next round. For that, P2 will be kept back in the ready queue again. So now only the one process is there in the ready queue, that is P2 again. So P2 will be picked and the remaining burst time is only 1. So P2 will be given so one more chance to use the CPU, but only for 1 millisecond, because its remaining time is only 1 millisecond. So you could just look at carefully, so how parallelly we need to just take care of the processes that have arrived within the gap of the times, and we need to keep on preempting the processes and put them back to the tail of the queue. So that is a small difference. So from this we could just calculate CT, TAT and WT and all. From the Gantt chart we could just say that P1 is completing at 8 millisecond, P2 at 12 millisecond, P3 at 6 and P4 at 9. So we already know that what is TAT. So TAT would be CT minus AT. So that is nothing but 8 minus 0, 12 minus 1, 6 minus 2 and 9 minus 3. And WT the waiting time would be TAT minus BT, so which could be, so 8 minus 4, so 11 minus 5, 4 minus 2, 6 minus 1. So when you just sum up all these things and divide by number of processes, you will get to know what is average TAT and average WT. Thank you.